Thank you, Bill. Thank you. And good morning and welcome to Unity of Orange County. We're so glad that you're here, whether you're here in person or watching us on our YouTube channel. We're just happy that you decided to join us today. And we like to begin with our vision and our mission statement. So for those who are here, if you could join in, our vision statement is centered in divine love, we joyfully co-create a world that works for all. And our mission is to awaken, inspire, and transform lives. So I always like to thank those people who make Sunday possible. And we have Bill on the piano, and Tom doing our sound, and Waverly and John live streaming, and Christopher on camera. And our prayer platform person for today is Reverend Allison. And so it's without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. So I'm really grateful. And also, talking about gratitude, we have today, after our service, our gratitude circle, which is part of our 40 days of gratitude. We do that on Zoom and in the church. So please join us one way or the other. And we will continue with that until right before Thanksgiving. Also, you're invited to join us for more gratitude on Wednesday, November 25th at 6 o'clock p.m. as we do a gratitude service. We're going to also be doing that here and on Zoom. So it's a great way to include everybody in our community, those that are near and those that cannot be with us physically. So Unity of Orange County is also in partnership with the South County Outreach, and we're looking to make Christmas a little brighter for those families who really haven't had much good luck this year, and we want them to have a great Christmas. And so we are asking for gift cards from Target or Walmart. You can drop them off at the church. We have a little snowman up front, or you can mail them to the church. We need to have them by December 6th, and Kimberly is going to deliver them. If you have any questions, you can contact her or just the church, and I'll put you in contact with her. And if you are getting tired of this and you need some prayer, we have people who are available to pray with you. If you email us at uocpray@gmail.com, we will have someone contact you and pray with you. And if you still are shopping like crazy online, because now we're getting close to the holidays and you don't want to go into the store, remember, if you go to smileamazon.com and pick Unity of Orange County as your charity, whatever you spend, we get a small portion. You don't pay anything more than you would if you go on to Amazon. And so with that, I would like to introduce Reverend Allison.
Good morning. The daily word for Sunday, November 1st, 2020 is remember. I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. Grandparents, parents, siblings, members of my extended family, teachers, friends, co-workers, every person that I have known that has set an example that has helped me feel more deeply what it means to be human. Some have encouraged my curiosity. Some have taught me life skills. Some have molded my positive attitudes and behaviors. Some have loved me fully and unselfishly. And some have helped me learn to love, even when loving felt difficult. Today, I remember the people whose lives have touched mine. I pause to think kindly of each one as I savor the memories of time that we have spent together. Whether we're still in one another's lives, have lost touch, or are separated by death, I know that the experiences we've had and we have shared continue to enrich our lives and deeply bless us in spiritual journeys. And the scripture today is Romans 1, chapter 9. I remember you always in my prayer. And now I invite you to prepare for our meditation. If you want to find a comfortable seated position, and just gently close your eyes if you choose and prepare for this moment. Let's just begin by having that nice rhythmic breathing, slow and steady, in and out. And this morning I invite you to take a peaceful pause with me as we go within. So take that next breath and just begin to relax even more. And as you're breathing in and as you're breathing out, you become aware of any tension. And you let it leave your body from the top of your head down to your toes. Just simply release it and let it go. And then as we continue our breathing, just go a little bit deeper. And in this space, know the following. You are immersed in the comfort of divine love. You feel this love saturating your mind and your body. You feel this love removing any anxiety and any worrisome thoughts or feelings. And there is a great comfort in knowing that the divine presence is with you at all times and in all circumstances. From that thought alone, you feel your spirit being lifted, and you feel safe, and you feel peaceful. And now notice as you breathe that your mind is still and you are at peace. You are calm. And you are at ease. Spirit is flowing through you now, and you can feel security and tranquility washing over you in this moment. Serenity begins to well up from your innermost self, and peace floods your mind and your body. You are one with God, one in the midst of peace, of love, of faith, strength, and wisdom. Breathe deeply now and notice that with each heartbeat, you become aware of this peaceful presence that is within you now and always. You are never alone. Peace and love and truth are but a breath away. And as you begin to move back into the day that is before you, your mind is poised and your heart is serene. You know that the Spirit of God works in and through you, bringing peace and possibilities into your life. And as we speak this, we know that it is so. Namaste.
Thank you. So I give Bill a challenge because every week I tell him what religion I'm going to talk about the next week, and then he's got to try and figure out what kind of music to do. So thank you for being so open. So this week we're going to talk about a couple of things. One is Hinduism, which is probably the world's oldest religion, and the title is Wisdom from a Golf Game, and we will get to golf because are there any golfers out there? Well, if you're a golfer, you understand that golf can be a religion for many people. But we're going to start out with Hinduism. Hinduism is different than some of the other religions in the fact that it's not a monotheistic religion. They have many gods. They have the main god and many deities, and the main god is Brahma, and then they have all these other gods. And Hinduism is all about having this personal relationship with whatever deity that you choose. And when we think of Hinduism, we think of countries like India, and one of the things that Hindus believe is the sacredness of a cow. So when you go to India, I know lots of people have been to India, the cows just walk around in the street like dogs do in other places. And they're not all vegetarian. There are a lot that are, but they don't eat cows. And what we're really going to talk about is a part of Hinduism, and that is Hare Krishna. So most people are familiar with the Krishnas because they see them in the street or at the airports. They're always singing, they're always dancing, and they're always feeding people. That's what they're known for. And Krishna is one of the minor gods in Hinduism. The one main difference between the Krishnas and Hinduism is Krishnas believe in one God, and that is Krishna. They don't believe in all the minor gods that Hinduism does. And Krishnas are vegetarian because Krishnas believe that all life is part of God, and therefore it has to be respected. They also are big on karma and reincarnation, so they truly believe that what we do comes back to us. And so it's very important that we act in the world today the way we want to be treated. And they believe in reincarnation. So that means that your karma could come back to you in this lifetime, but your karma can come back to you in another lifetime. And they also believe that the reincarnation isn't necessarily human being. We can be another kind of creature in a previous life, or we can get reincarnated into another life form, depending on how we are in this lifetime. So it's really important on how you are. They also believe that God is found within. So the Krishna Bhagavad Gita is not that long, but it's a very hard religious text to understand. It's very rich. There's lots of translations from Sanskrit. They're very interesting. And there was a man, I think his name was Pressman, who was a student of Krishna and wanted to put it into a way that people would understand. And so he wrote a book called The Legend of Bhagavants, which is the story of the Bhagavad Gita, told in terms of golf. And the whole idea that he used golf is because one of the big things that it says in the movie is that golf is a game that you cannot win, you can only play. And when you think about it, life is a game that we can only play, we can't win. We're all going to die. So it's not like we can somehow live life so well that we avoid death. So how we play this game of life is what's important. How we are in our day-to-day life is what really counts. And so we all are born with this spark of God within us, this true self. This is not really any different than certain psychology, like transformative psychology, that believes that we have the greatest self within us and then all these other little selves. Or we say in unity, we have the Christ within. There are lots of religions that talk about that. But what happens to us is that, so we're born with our true self, and then the world comes at us. And it tells us, you can't do this, you can't do that, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's constantly barraging us with all kinds of shoulds, shouldn'ts, goods, couldn'ts, and we forget who we are. So we spend our whole life trying to remember who we really are. And once we realize who we are, which is that we aren't just human beings, but we're spirit, then we can have this closer relationship with God. So think about it this way. When you were born, how many people maybe have grandchildren or nieces or nephews? And, when babies come into the world, they're so perfect. They're so innocent. If they could talk, they could probably tell you a lot about God because they have just come here from wherever life comes from before. And they have this knowing and this connection. And then what happens is as the babies grow, we tell them, well, you can't do this and you can't do that, or you have to believe this, or you shouldn't believe that. And we teach them. We teach them how they're supposed to be in this world. Not who they really are, but how we want them to be. And so then life happens to them and they have trouble dealing with it. We do. Like right now, with everything that's going on in the world, there's a lot going on. And it's really easy to get caught up in all that stuff and to forget who we are. We get so between, the virus, and the election and other things that are happening in the world, it's just so easy to get to the point where we forget who we truly are. We forget who our true self is. And we think that we're this form, this human being, and we forget this spiritual part that we are. So in the Bhagavad Gita, there's a story about, so Arjuna is a warrior, and he is getting ready to go into battle, and he has to fight relatives of himself. He has to fight cousins and people, uncles, and all of that, and he doesn't want to go into battle. Even though that's his thing, he's a warrior, he doesn't want to fight his relatives. And so he's having a lot of inner turmoil. This is what he is supposed to do. He is a warrior, but there is a part of him that doesn't want to do it. And so Krishna comes to him in the form of his chariot driver. And he teaches him through the Bhagavad Gita all about life and duty and really being true to ourselves until until Arjuna understands the truth about life. Now, this idea of fighting our relatives, it's really interesting because it's very similar to Christianity when Jesus tells us that the enemies, our truest enemies, are the enemies of our own house. Jesus says that. Now, Jesus is not talking about maybe your relatives in your house, although depending on your relationship with your relatives, it could be. But they're talking about, when they're talking about relatives and they're talking about the enemy, they're talking about that aspects of ourself that we tend to fight all our life. The negative thoughts that come and tell us that we can or can't do something. The negative thinking that we're not good enough or that we can never amount to anything or that we're never going to have an education, or we can't do this, or we can't do that. All that negativity are the people of our own household. They're internally of our household. When 9/11 happened, I was in ministerial school in Kansas City, and we were in class when it happened. And it was interesting being in Unity Village at that time. Because here we are in this place, which is so peaceful and just so magnificent, that they have been praying forever there. And there's this prayer energy there. It is unbelievable. And we're in some class talking about some spiritual topic, and then all of a sudden these images come of the planes hitting the world towers and the smoke and everything. And we're having a really hard time with it. I mean, it was really difficult I'm sure you all remember, it's difficult for everybody to see this. It was, here we live in this country, we thought we were so safe, and all of a sudden we're under attack and people are dying. And so we talked about this because there was so much anti-terrorist afterward and all this negativity, and we discussed this a lot in class. And the thing that we discuss most is the terrorists. Our biggest problem is not the terrorists from without, but the terrorists from within. Our enemies are the enemies within us. That thought, that negativity, does more harm to us than anything on the outside can do to us. We can try to protect ourselves as much as possible from the outside. You can put yourself in a bunker. You can surround yourself with all kinds of things to protect yourself. But you know what? You can't protect yourself from what goes on within you. So Arjuna and Krishna are having this talk, and Krishna is trying to get Arjuna to understand that he has to do what he was created to do, what his destiny is in life. And so this author wrote this book called The Legend of Bhagavans. And the hero, his name is Randolph Juna. So it's Arjuna, which is Arjuna. And Bhagavans, there's another name for Krishna, and it's Bhagavagan. I can never pronounce these names. That's why it's so hard to read this stuff. But it's Bhagavans. So there's this guy in the movie, Juna, and Juna when he was young, he was like the greatest golfer. He had like this possibility to win all these tournaments. By 16, he had done, amazing things. And then World War I comes. And like being a good American patriot, he enlists. And the movie takes place in Savannah, Georgia. And it was filmed in Savannah, Georgia. So anyway, he enlists into the army, and he goes to the great war that's going to end all wars. And we know, of course, that war didn't. And it was a very traumatic war because nobody expected what they had to deal with. No one expected all the dying and all the stuff that these men had to deal with. And so he leads his men on a charge, and they all die except for him. And he gets a medal, but he's so torn and so upset by the fact that he survived and everybody else died that he can't go back because he doesn't want to get a hero's welcome. And he disappears for some years. And then he comes back to Savannah incognito, trying not for anyone to recognize him. And he has just given up on life because he is faced with the demons of his past, and he can't get rid of them. And his girlfriend from before he went away to war, her father built this big golf course and then died, and it was during the Depression. And she was trying to save this golf course. So she has this great idea that she's going to have the best golf tournament by getting Walter Hagen and Bobby Jones to play an exhibition. So if you know anything about golf, these are like two of the great golfers of all times. So she convinces them to come play golf, but all the locals want somebody local to play. And there's nobody to ask except for Juna. And he doesn't want to play golf. He hasn't played golf in years. So they convince him to play. And he's lost his swing. He can't hit a ball to save himself. And out of nowhere comes Bhagavans, played by Will Smith. And his job, he says he's to be a caddy. He's going to be his caddy, and he's going to teach him how to get back his swing. So the movie is all about Bhagavans teaching Juna the facts about life and the facts like of how he can be true to who he is. And so the first round, Juna's doing really badly. He can't hit a ball for anything, and he's getting really discouraged. And he won't listen to Bhagavans at all. So think about this. We go on a spiritual quest. We go through life with blindfolds very often. We know what's best for us. God's talking to us. Spirit's talking to us. We're not listening, right? We know better. God's saying, oh, I think you should do this. And we're going, no, I got this. I'm going to do it my way. We're in the driver's seat. God, you can be in the back seat. We got the driver's seat. So this is the first round of golf, and of course he does really poorly. And so he's in the second round of golf, and Bhagavans is trying to teach him about this, and he doesn't get it. And then all of a sudden, Bhagavans teaches him about seeing the field and getting your swing, which is all about seeing the bigger picture, seeing what we were created to be. So he starts doing better. So they're in this scene, and we're going to see this scene every time I see this anyway. So he hits a ball, and it goes into the woods. So if you're a golfer, you know anything about golf, that's like really no, because you're in the woods. It's hard to get out of the woods. It takes a lot of shots usually to get out of the woods. And Juna is faced with all these inner demons of his past. So he's in the woods with the ball, and this is the scene.
You gonna be wanting a different club there, Juna?
I can't do this.
Yeah, you might should just loose your grip up a smidge. You know, a man's grip on his club just like a
That's
man's
not what I'm
grip on...
talking about.
I know.
No, you don't.
What I'm talking about is a game. Game that can't be won. Only played.
You don't understand.
I don't need to understand. Ain't a soul on this entire earth ain't got a burden to carry he don't understand. You ain't alone in that. But you've been carrying this one long enough. Time to go on, lay it down.
I don't know how.
You got a choice. You can stop, or you can start.
Start.
Walking
Where?
right back to where you always been, and then stand there. Still. Real still. And remember.
It's too long ago.
Oh no, sir, it was just a moment ago. Time for you to come on out the shadows, Juna. Time for you to choose.
I can't.
Yes, you can. But you ain't alone. I'm right here with you. I've been here all along. Now play the game. Your game. The one that only you was meant to play. One that was given to you when you come into this world. You ready? Come on, take your stance. Strike that ball, Junior. Don't hold nothing back. Give it everything. Now's the time. Let yourself remember. Remember your swing. That's right, Junior. Settle yourself. Let's go. Now is the time, Junior. Let's go, Hardy.
Hey, Bagger.
Yep.
You are one hell of a caddy.
Well, I do the best with what I got to work with.
So the reason I love this movie, I especially love this scene, is it kind of reminds me, I don't know about anyone else, I only can talk from my own experience, but for a lot of my life I was kind of lost and I really did not know where I belonged. And one night I had a spiritual experience. And what I felt was this. I felt like God, bag of Vance, whatever, Krishna, however you want to call your higher power or whatever, was there telling me that it was okay. It was time to put down the old stuff and pick up the new and to be the person that I was created to be. You see, we all are created to be someone. And sometimes we forget. We forget because life just hands us some really difficult stuff, or we forget because we just take the wrong path somewhere in our life and we wind up going to the left instead of the right. And we forget. We forget that God is within us. We forget that we were created to do something that only we can do on this earth. And sometimes we discover that on our own, and sometimes it takes having a good caddy to come along and remind you when you're at that point that you've truly forgotten the truth, what the truth is. And it doesn't have something big. People always say to me, well, I don't know what my purpose in life is. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You see, there's something only you can do, and it might be something really small. Maybe you're the person that calls somebody at a time somebody really needed a call. And only you making that call makes a difference in that person's life. Or maybe you're someone that your job is to pray for someone, or to give someone a ride when they need it, or to bring someone food when they need it, or to collect gift cards for kids who need it. You know, we have to find out what it is that we're supposed to do in this life and be true to ourselves. It's not about getting you enough toys in this life so when you die, you can say, oh, look what I got. Because you don't win. You don't win, no matter how much stuff you collect in this life. You don't win at the end if you go, well, I got a Rolls Royce and I got this mansion, I got this, and that doesn't make you a winner. What makes us a winner at the end of our life is if we know that we've lived a life well and we've done the best that we could do to be authentic to who we are. Because wherever we go next, we can't take that stuff with us. Only thing we can take with us is that authentic self, that true part of us that goes with us wherever we go. And so we have to remember this. And this movie, I can't even give this movie justice. In fact, I decided after watching this movie again for the nth time, I actually gave this movie to a son of mine who's a golfer, who's also an atheist, hoping that somehow I'd get some kind of message across to him and that would have no idea what this movie is really about, but something would get into his brain. But anyway, so I decided I'm having a last minute showing of this movie Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. So I can't do it on Zoom because Zoom will not let me show a movie on Zoom. So if you can come to the church, we'll do practice social distancing, wear a mask, and watch the movie. And then in 2 weeks from Tuesday, we're going to have a spiritual discussion group on this movie. If you can't come and you want to be part of the discussion, which we will be doing on Zoom, as well as in person, you can rent the movie. You can get it free if you have a Stars subscription, but you can rent the movie on YouTube, on Apple, on Google, on Amazon, anywhere, and you can probably get it out of a Redbox or something. But I invite you to watch this movie because it asks us to ask ourselves the question, are we true to who we are? Are we our authentic self? And is the relationship that we have with the God of our understanding one of this closeness? We sometimes forget that. We get so wrapped up in the world. So I don't know about you, but like I say, I've seen this movie so many times, but I was watching the movie and I was watching this scene and I thought to myself, you know, it's so easy because I know I've done this myself. With everything going on and with COVID and all this stuff, I kind of have forgotten what my purpose was. I just have gotten so wrapped up on this stuff, COVID and all the difficulties and the election and this and that I kind of had forgotten that purpose that came to me so many years ago. And so we have to be reminded of this. And this has got so many fabulous scenes in it. So whether you want to do the spiritual discussion of this movie or not, I invite you to rent it for the few bucks it is and watch this movie. It's literally life-changing. And it is a spiritual lesson. It is the interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita put into terms of golf. So close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to go deep within and ask yourself this question. Why do you think that you're here right now on this earth? While you were born, you know, God created us. And God doesn't make any mistakes. Each person is an individual. Each person is unique. Each person has their own gifts or talents. Each person has their own destiny. God placed us here for God's purpose. And we need to have constant reminders of that, because the world will tell us that's not the case. The world will tell us that we're human beings having this human experience, instead of the truth that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. That we are been placed here to learn how to play the game and play it well, not to win. So at the end of our time here, we will know that it wasn't about that we won or lost this game, but that we played this game well. We played it to the best of our ability with what we have been given. And we can overcome anything. And we too can get out of the woods of doubt and despair and darkness and into light and onto the green. And so it is. Amen. Here at Unity, we have our 5 basic principles, and we like to affirm it every week. So if you would please join us. The first one is, God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. And 2, I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and in everyone. And 3, I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. And 4, through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. And 5, I do and give my best by living the truth I know. I make a difference. And one way we make a difference is through the gifts that we give, and we appreciate your gifts. One way you can make a difference is by hitting in our YouTube channel, hitting the subscribe button and hitting the like button, and also sharing our videos with your friends and through Facebook or any other way that you share videos. That's a help. And another way is your gifts that you give us. And we appreciate all your gifts, whether you text them to us at 77977 Unity OC Give, or you mail them to us, or you give it to us online at our website, or you bring them here and you drop them in the donation box that's on the way out of the exit door. Whichever way, we appreciate it. So whatever way you're about to give, I invite you to take your gifts in your hands as we say our blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. And now we'd like to close with our prayer for protection. So if you will, please join me together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a wonderful week. Be safe, be blessed, and remember, we are all who we were created to be. So go shine your light. Thank you.